is WGAF Franklin, Massachusetts. Power 88. Southeastern New England's hottest rock. All day long.
Good morning. You are listening to the Alex Feuz Show, bringing you all of the news, sports debates, interviews with people you all care about, and so much more. Every single weekday on Dean College Power 88 Radio, broadcasting live from 7 to 8 a.m. And now, here's your host, Alex Feuz.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alex Feuz alongside Alex Marie, George Hathaway, and Austin Dakuta in the news studio today. Packed house in here for a wonderful Wednesday morning here on the campus at Dean College. And I hope you are having a great start to your morning. I still like the fact it's light outside, Alex. Do you like this? I love this. I know we talked about this on Monday. It's the first true week of daylight savings time, and I love the light in the morning.
Yeah, it really helps when we have to roll out of bed at around 6:30, so it's not complete darkness and we can see where we're going.
Right. I mean, it kind of wakes you up. I mean, I haven't had my coffee yet, and I still have. I know, surprising, but I have not had my coffee yet. But again, I'm in a great mood. So there's that. Anyways, but I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our listeners this morning. And Alex actually told me this morning that her family from Australia listens every morning.
Yeah, they do. They're over in Melbourne. Yeah, my grandma's sister and her daughter are listening over there.
That's amazing. What time is it over there?
It's tomorrow, so that's all I know. Or it's very late in the day today. They're like 12 hours ahead of us.
So, see, this always confuses me. And nothing changes, like sports or anything, because it's not like the future. I mean, in a way it is, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they can predict the future.
I'm like, so like what happened? I called my family over there. I'm like, so what happened at 8:30 today? They're like, it's the same time.
Yeah. As a kid, I was always confused by that. I thought if you were ahead of time. And the reason why I thought this is because I would watch this TV show and the spoilers would be posted online from the show. But it was only because it was shown at that time across the country. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I forget what show it was, but it was shown, let's say, at 11 a.m. in California when it was supposed to be shown at like 2 o'clock here.
Yeah, and you thought it was the future because it was earlier in the day.
Right.
Yeah,
but they posted the spoilers because it's a taped show. It's not a live show. So it's a taped show, and that's how it got out because it played before it came over here.
Yeah, I definitely thought that when I was flying there. The last time I went there, I was like 4. But when I was flying there when I was 4, I definitely thought I was going like forward in time because, like, I'm 4. What else am I supposed to think?
Is Australia the plane that we talked about a few weeks ago?
Yeah, they want to have a flight from here directly to, I think it's either Melbourne, Australia,
I think it was Melbourne.
Yeah. They want to have a direct flight, and it's going to be like 18 hours or something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah, I would never be able to do that.
Because with my luck, I would get put next to someone that either has a cold, a baby, you name it. I would have an issue, or with my luck, that would happen to me.
Yeah, I would honestly, those like big bed pod things?
Yes.
I would break the bank and go with one of those. I'm going to be stuck in there for almost 20 hours.
Like the Delta, or I know they have the premium plane services, where you can buy the extra package and lay in a bed on a plane. It's insane.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they also have those on trains, too. You could get beds on trains. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah, you could actually get I don't know. I mean, trains aren't that popular anymore because you have planes and trains and automobiles. Bad joke. Anyways, but yeah, they have beds on trains.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe, like, it was useful 30, 40 years ago when people were using trains. I
Yeah.
mean, not even that long ago. People were barely using trains then. But
I would say up until 10 years ago.
really?
I mean, trains are so popular, but not to the extent of what it used to be.
I don't know. I do use the train to get around Boston, so.
Yeah. We'll go down into Boston from the commuter rail down the road, but other than that, that's really the only train I would go on because a long train ride is just not appealing to me.
Oh, when I was younger, I would beg my parents to go on the train. Like,
Really?
where is it? In North Conway. There's a train up there, and I, like, beg them to go on it. I don't know why I like trains.
Well, speaking of trains, how's it looking out there with train traffic and weather reports?
Oh, yeah, I got you. Okay, so right now in Franklin, Mass., it's 36 degrees. It'll reach a high of 53 and hit a low of 33. The rest of the day is expected to be cool and sunny. For traffic, there's major congestion on Route 93 from Blue Hills Reservation all the way into South Boston. Route 24 is backed up from Brockton all the way to Blue Hills Reservation. There is a slowdown where Route 95 and 495 cross. 95 is also backed up from Canton to Dedham. You should expect an overall around a 15-minute delay on your commute. For the train, there seems to be no delays this morning on the commuter rail, but on the weekends till November 24th, Franklin train service is replaced by free buses between Forge Park and Reedville for a Fairmount line connection while the PTC is still installed.
A funny story about that. It was a few weeks ago, and it was on the weekend, and I was walking down Main Street here, and a couple of my friends got off a bus, and they're like, "Oh, we just went to Boston," and I was like, I didn't realize that they did buses to Boston. I'm like, "Oh, that's so awesome," but then realizing it was just the commuter rail bus that dropped them off.
Yeah, I've been on that thing a few times.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I mean, like, the buses in Boston. Like, my brother, he uses it all the time to get out of Boston to Chelsea and stuff.
Yeah.
It's and they go through Danvers a lot too. It's not the cleanest bus.
Is it tough?
It's not the best bus.
Yeah.
It's very hard because it always gets delayed, or we're always waiting there for a little too long. It's just not the best way to get around.
That's why I love driving so much, is because if I'm running late, it's on me. And I'm not waiting. I hate waiting.
Yeah, that's the only thing. If I ever lived in Boston, you would have to
I would have to own a bike.
rely on the train.
I would have to own a bike.
Own a bike. You're gonna ride your bike.
Well, I
in the
think
snow?
Boston is similar city to New York City, where you could get away with riding a bike everywhere. Maybe Boston's more spread out, so you could drive more. But I mean, like in New York City, you're never owning a car if you live in New York City.
Oh no. I mean, I've never been there, but even in Boston, there's no point of having a car.
No. I mean, even you had the subway system in New York that really kind of solves your day-to-day issues as well. Subway is also kind of iffy sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like the train, like the subway in Boston, it's always it always is delayed. I think, but they do come
feels like
every
that.
5 minutes, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is nice. But we have a big show today. Austin and I, coming up next, we'll be talking about the Cy Young finalists from this past 2019 baseball season, as well as top 5 news headlines of the day with George Hathaway. Alex Marie will be bringing you another train traffic and weather report at 7:30. And then also, we'll give a look into the Boston Celtics as well. So coming up next, who do Austin Dakuda and I think is going to be the 2019 Cy Young Award winner? Next on Power 88. Well, welcome back to Power 88. And if you look at the first 3 sentences of that song, that's basically what these 3 pitchers did this whole season. Charlie Morton, Garrett Cole, and Justin Verlander. Arguably, the Astros would not have made the World Series without those 2 pitchers, Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander. They shut down the Yankees' offense. What was that, Austin?
I don't think they would have made the playoffs without Garrett Cole or Verlander.
What?
Well, you said that if the Yankees, you said the Astros wouldn't have made the World Series without Cole or Verlander, and I don't think they would have made the playoffs without Cole or Verlander. That's 40 games that they won because of these guys.
Sure, but again, that offense also outweighed that pitching pretty heavily. I definitely think they would have made the playoffs.
I don't know.
Who else?
That's 40 games that you won because of these two pitchers.
No, it's a great
41 games.
Yeah, even better. But still, to say that they wouldn't make the playoffs without them, I don't know about that.
I don't know. That's your two best players on your team.
And plus, with the addition of, I don't know. I think I have to disagree with that.
It's a tough debate.
It's a tough debate, but I have to disagree with that.
Well, because my reason is after these two guys in your rotation, you had Zach Greinke halfway through the season. So if you had the start of the year, you go back. Lance McCullers has been injured all year, so you didn't get much from him. They traded for traded from the guy Aaron Sanchez from Toronto, and then after that, their rotation wasn't much. That's why they went with a 3-man rotation and one bullpen guy during the World Series and the playoffs, because their rotation was so thin after Cole and Verlander. They had to go get Greinke, and if you take Cole and Verlander off the team, they're not a playoff team. They're just not. They have no rotation without the two of them.
I guess it does make sense, but
let's focus on the actual Cy Young award.
So again, Garrett Cole, a right-hand pitcher for the Astros, is a finalist. Charlie Morton is a finalist, and Justin Verlander is a finalist. So those are three of arguably the three best pitchers in the game.
And they all had terrific seasons, Alex, setting career highs, many of them, and especially Justin Verlander, who just continues to get better with age.
It's insane. Just to watch him perform every single night and to go out to the mound. And every single night it seems like he is just a young pitcher coming up. Like he's just fresh every night.
You have to remember, too, these votes take place before the playoffs, I believe. So that way the World Series isn't even taken into account. So although Verlander did have a poor performance in the World Series, you have to remember this is based off the regular season, who's the most valuable player to their team. And Verlander may be that guy, Cy Young in terms of most valuable pitcher to their team. Verlander went 21-6 with a 2.58 ERA and a .803 WHIP, which is the lowest of his career. Now, WHIP is walks and hits to innings pitched, so that's kind of a measure of how many base runners you allow per inning. So Verlander set a career low in WHIP, as well as adding 300 strikeouts, another career high in 223 innings, and he threw a no-hitter this year. It's one of the best seasons for a guy who everyone thought might be towards the back end of his career.
Yeah, Justin Verlander, 21 wins, as well as slightly above, almost identical ERA, 258 compared to Cole, and with a higher, and MLB leading innings total of pitched, 223 in the regular season. Going up against Cole, again, Cole led the American League in ERA of 250, and fielding independent pitching 264, while leading the majors in strikeouts with 326 strikeouts.
He was incredible all season, and he didn't get tired either, which is impressive. He was able to finish games, and you saw many highlights of Cole in the 7th or 8th inning of baseball games, throwing 98 miles an hour, still true workhorse, and a guy who really helped his Astros team get to the point they made it to this season.
Then also we have to give the credit where credit is due to Charlie Morton. Morton delivered a 3.05 ERA and the major league best of 0.7 homers per 9 inning ratio across 194 and 2/3 innings pitched and 33 starts.
Morton was very good this season. It's just unfortunate for him that two guys had better seasons who had, seasons that were just unmatchable. And Morton going 16-6 with a 3.05 ERA is, no slight to him. He did a phenomenal job this season. The Astros actually had Charlie Morton last year but didn't re-sign him. He went off to Tampa Bay, got himself a nice 2-year contract, and really proved that he's worth every penny.
And it's ironic that all three of the finalists are pitchers that have been in a Astros uniform in the last 2 seasons.
They are, and they're all pitchers who the Astros didn't bring up on their own. They traded for to get, which is interesting.
I think the Astros, from the standpoint of coaching as well as front office, is unmatched. And their ability to find players that, almost similar to the Yankees, where the Yankees can get guys like DJ LeMahieu from out of nowhere, or guys like Didi Gregorius that kind of just fly under the radar, that aren't those big name stars, and they thrive in the New York market. Unlike Sonny Gray, who, if you're the Yankees, needed that pitcher in the rotation and didn't have that Sonny Gray that was with the Athletics. But going back for the Cy Young, Austin, who do you feel like is the best of the three? I feel like I'm leaning towards Garrett Cole, because for a while there, Garrett Cole was the best pitcher in the world.
I think it's going to go to Garrett Cole as well. I think it's a very close race. It is a two-person race, unfortunately, for Charlie Morton. The stats just, tell the story. They completely outweigh what Morton did this year between Cole and Verlander. And between Cole and Verlander, Cole had the better ERA. He had more strikeouts in less innings pitched and continued to dominate. He had a good whip as well, a career low in walks to hits innings pitched for Garrett Cole as well, and a guy who just dominated all season long. So based on the fact that he's a little bit lower ERA and more strikeouts, I think this one's going to go to Garrett Cole. It is very close, however.
Does age come into a factor with this debate?
I wouldn't say age does. I think a lot of it is stats, and a lot of it is the relationship that these pitchers have with the media. Because you got to remember, the Baseball Writers of America are voting on this, and a lot of the times, if these players build positive relationships with the media, that can help affect or swing the vote. And you have a guy like Mariano Rivera, who got into the Baseball Hall of Fame unanimous, first one. And a lot of that had to do with his relationships with the media, because everyone loved Mariano in the media, and that kind of helped sway votes. I mean, he definitely should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, and there was no question about that. But oftentimes you have guys who don't vote for him just because they don't want a guy to be unanimous. But in that case, it helped him because of his relationship with the media and the writers. And this could be the same way in Cy Young and MVP voting, and any kind of voting. If you have a good relationship with a writer, he might pick you over somebody else because of that relationship. Now, I think Cole still has the better stats, and I don't really think Verlander's age is going to play a factor into the voting at all.
Verlander is a previous Cy Young Award winner, so if he receives this award, he would be a two-time Cy Young Award winner. I think you could flip it a coin to decide who is a Cy Young. I think at the end of the day, I think Cole kind of just edges Justin Verlander a little bit statistic-wise, but again, it also has to be, a thought that Justin Verlander is performing this way at the age of 36.
It's incredible, because we thought a couple years ago that his career was kind of coming to a slow decline, and all of a sudden he's back in the Cy Young Award race. I
feel like, though, Austin, I know you don't think so, but age is definitely a factor here.
Into voting or award winning?
Yes. In this particular case, because let's face it, the chances of Justin Verlander having a similar season next year, where this is his last shot to maybe be another Cy Young, where Garrett Cole has a few more seasons left under, in the tank.
I don't think they really care about that. I mean, you go back to a couple years ago where Verlander did not win Cy Young voting against Rick Porcello, and Porcello had, not as good an ERA as in Verlander, and age didn't really play a factor then, because that was when Verlander was only 33. So, but you have to go back to the time where we thought Verlander was kind of done. He was kind of the back end. It was 2014. He was 31 years old, went 15-12 with a 4.5 ERA. Slowly kind of worked his way back, got traded, was injured a little bit, then comes to Houston and just turns it on again, and has been a dominant pitcher. But I mean, I don't know if, Alex, that age is going to really play a factor, because I don't think the writers really take in consideration that this might be his last chance to win one. So he's already got one. He's got an MVP, a Cy Young, and a Rookie of the Year. So he's got the accolades. Garrett Cole does not have an MVP yet. So does that play a bigger factor? I mean, doesn't have a Cy Young yet. So it could kind of play a factor in terms of, well, Cole has none, Verlander has one, give this one to Cole. If that's how they think about it, which I don't know if it is. I think they just think about stats.
Yes, I think especially with baseball in today's world, everything is so heavily reliant on statistics. I mean, just look at StatCast and all the scheduled days off and everything that goes into the game now that never really was a thing. before, I feel like, statistics are what drives these conversations. I mean, that's kind of how baseball is. When have you ever gone to an athletic game that's not baseball? If you go to a football, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, if you go to any of those 5 games, softball, well, I'll remove softball for this conversation because where do you ever see someone taking score at one of those games? That's a non-baseball or non-softball game. You don't. And if you go to a baseball or softball game, you'll definitely see a couple people taking scores and using their scorecard in the stands.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do, though, with how fast-paced the other games are, because it's impossible for you to sit in the stands and tally up rebounds, assists, and points scored, while in baseball, you have a lot of time to sit there, and it's one pitch at a time, so not as much is able to happen on one play. But in one play in the NBA, you can have a steal, assist, and a three-pointer, as well as, you have to tally up who had the pass, who hit the shot, and who had the steal to start it. So that's why I think you don't see people scoring NBA games, because it's so exciting and there's constant action. But in the MLB, it's kind of a slower game, and you have that tradition of keeping score in the stands because you have enough time to do so. So I don't know if it's necessarily based on stats, like that's how driven the game is, because the other games are driven the same way. I think people just follow the stats on their phone rather than keep it themselves because of how fast-paced it is.
In the National League, the 3 also best pitchers, you have DeGrom, Ryu, and also Scherzer. 3 of the best pitchers in the National League. We saw Max Scherzer again. These votes are taking place before the playoffs begin. I think if it was after the World Series, it would be Max Scherzer. And it still might be that way, but I don't know. DeGrom and also Ryu makes a very good case as well.
Yeah, I think this one has to go to DeGrom. I think because DeGrom had the most innings pitched out of the 3 by at least 20 innings, and then you have to go to DeGrom's strikeouts. He led the 3 of them in strikeouts, as well as pitching tremendous throughout the season, 32 starts. Scherzer was injured for part of the year, only made 27 starts, 172 innings pitched, compared to DeGrom's 32 starts to 204 innings pitched. And then Hyun-Jin Ryu had the least of those. Actually had the middle. He has 29 starts on 182 innings pitched. So it's going to be a very close race. And this is going to kind of tell you, do the voters go off of strikeouts or do they go off of ERA more? So you have a guy like Ryu who had a 2.32 ERA compared to DeGrom's 2.43. But Ryu had significantly less strikeouts with 163 to DeGrom's 255 rather. Scherzer had 243. So this is going to show you whether voters kind of go towards the ERA department and pick the guy like Ryu who had a more efficient season with ERA and his whip, or are they going to go with a guy like DeGrom who still had a phenomenal ERA but more strikeouts by far?
I think it comes down to the DeGrom or Ryu, not Scherzer.
Yeah, Scherzer's ERA is at 2.92 on the higher end of it. He didn't pitch as many innings as either of them, as you said, Alex. And I think
the only pitch in 27 starts is
right.
His fewest since his rookie season. He's a war dog, a war horse, and we saw in the playoffs where, again, this vote came before the postseason, and I think he would definitely receive an award for persevering through that injury, where he, just from the words he said about how he couldn't even move, and he was able to go out there for Game 7. So it's just, he's that type of worker and player of the game of baseball. But ultimately, I think I have to lean towards DeGrom because he's the best pitcher.
I would agree there. DeGrom has been the best pitcher in the league over the last 2 seasons overall. I mean, you take last season into account, he was the Cy Young last year, 1.70 ERA. Comes back this year with a 2.43 ERA and another dominant performance. And one of the interesting things here, Alex, he's made 64 starts over the last 2 seasons and only has 21 wins while having an ERA that low of between a 2.05 between the last 2 seasons, and he only has 21 wins out of 64 starts. That just shows how the Mets struggle to put up offense for DeGrom. And if he was a 20-win guy like Garrett Cole, there'd be no question. We'd be saying DeGrom, Cy Young, again, not even close. He was incredibly dominant, but since he only had 11 wins, it's kind of, you're in that position where it's like, well, neither of these guys have a lot of wins, but nobody really talks about DeGrom as one of the best pitchers in baseball. As he doesn't get as much attention, rather, as the AL Cy Young is getting between Cole and Verlander. It's kind of been hidden. Even last year was DeGrom's dominance because of how it's, a 10-9 record. That's not a cute record. That's not an attractive record, if that makes sense. It's just he's 10-9 or 11-8 this year.
The National League is like chess, and the American League is like checkers. And I think it's so challenging for National League pitchers to rack up wins because they're also hitting. So the chances of them getting pulled from a game earlier than a American League pitcher is so much more. I mean, it's just the facts. Because if it's a big game, right? And you have a pitcher up there in the 5th inning, and you're trailing by 1 run or something. You have the bases loaded, 2 outs, and it's a must-win game. You're going to put a pinch hitter out there. At the end, you're just going to. You have to. And then if you don't, then you're fired. So I feel like it's, number one, it's so tough for guys like DeGrom to pick up the wins. But also, imagine if he was on the Astros or the Yankees or the Red Sox with a team that had the offense that could carry him. Yes, I know the Mets offense isn't always bad. It's just always bad when DeGrom is on the mound. Very similar to the Red Sox and Chris Sale, it seems like, where they just can't provide the offense that is ultimately going to waste a outstanding start.
Or they blow the game late. I've seen that a lot of times this year where Edwin Diaz came in and kind of forgot how to close a baseball game and cost DeGrom. But like you said, it is tougher for National League pitchers to rack up the wins total. Oftentimes they're removed from the game a little bit early. And the top 3 pitchers this year in wins were all from the AL. Then Strasburg came in at 4. He was actually tied with 2 American League pitchers for 4th place. So a lot of the pitchers in the top 10 for wins this year are American League pitchers, Alex. And you make a good point there, as AL pitchers oftentimes are able to stay in the game longer because of the fact they don't have to hit. Because a lot of times NL managers get into that point where your pitcher's at 85 pitches, say, through 6 innings, and he's going to come up to bat with the guy on second. They kind of pull him out of the game, even though he has about 15 pitches left in the tank.
So who are you going for American League? Are you going with Garrett Cole?
American League, I'll go with Garrett Cole. And the National League, I will go with Jacob DeGrom.
We agree.
Oh, good.
So we're on the same page. I definitely feel like those are the 2 best pitchers in the game. It's going to be interesting to see the future of DeGrom. I think he's going to he's going to stay with the Mets. I don't think they're going to trade him, especially with Carlos Beltran as a manager. But again, interesting to see where some of these pitchers go that are free agents. But coming up next, top 5 news headlines of the day. Got an interesting one in the headline this morning. Find out next here on Power 88. Welcome back to Power 88. Alex Feuz, Alex Marie, George Hathaway, and Austin Dakuda bringing you up until the 8 o'clock hour on this outstanding Wednesday morning. Alex Marie back in the news studio with another train, traffic, and weather report. Alex, how's it looking out there today?
Okay, so right now in Franklin, Mass., it's currently 36 degrees. It will reach a high of 53 and hit a low of 33. The rest of the day is expected to be cool and sunny. For traffic, there's major congestion on Route 93 from Blues Hills Reservation all the way into South Boston. Route 24 is backed up from Brockton all the way to Blue Hills Reservation. There's a slowdown where Route 95 and 495 cross. 95 is also backed up from Canton to Dedham. So you should expect an overall around 15-minute delay on your commute. For the train, there seems to be no delays this morning on the commuter rail, But on the weekends, till November 24th, Franklin train service is replaced by free buses between Forge Park and Reedville for a Fairmount line connection while the PTC is still installed. And that's all for your train traffic and weather update. Now sending it back to Alex Feuz.
Well, thank you, Alex Marie. And top 5 news headlines of the day. George Hathaway joining me in the news studio now for top 5 news headlines of the day. Headline number 5, George. Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich is officially coming back.
I never had one, especially when the entire chicken sandwich battle was going on between Popeyes and Chick-fil-A, but I never really had one. It looks really good, actually. But I know I'll be probably late to that as well because they'll probably be sold out by the time I go to Popeyes, or even if I find a Popeyes up here.
Well, they said, and I quote, "We plan to offer it to our guests for a long time." Bruno Carnadelli, head of marketing for North America at Popeyes, told CNN Business in an email, "We are confident that we'll be able to meet the demand."
Yeah, and there's been a rush of people trying to get these, so I guess they're pretty good if a lot of people are wanting these and the demand of them is going up. So Popeyes is going to please the customer.
Well, it's about time that the Popeyes chicken sandwich, it's a great debate to have. The Popeyes chicken sandwich or the Chick-fil-A, when it went viral, everyone was talking about it in the news and on all, different shows and everything. Everyone loved to talk about the chicken sandwich. I love chicken sandwich.
Yeah, me too. No,
chicken is one of my favorite foods.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about chicken that's just so good.
Yeah. Chicken is actually really amazing, and it's healthy too as well. And
that's the thing. You feel so good about yourself after.
You do. Yeah, I like chicken nuggets too. I mean, that's...
Chicken nuggets are okay. They're okay. Nothing
just
special.
okay?
Yeah, just okay.
All right.
Nothing special. I don't know. I'm hard to please. Anyways, headline number 4. Duke opens post-Zion era with new hard-nosed identity as they beat KU last night. George, I'm sure you're feeling very happy this morning with a big Duke victory.
Yeah, Duke, they didn't actually really play well. I was kind of a little disappointed in the way they played yesterday, but...
Sloppy first half.
Yes, it was. But, however, Duke forced 18 turnovers in the first half on Kansas, so their defense has been something that's going to be carrying them a lot this year, led by Trey Jones, who last year was amazing at defense. I think they're going to lead that again this year. Vernon Carey Jr. had a few blocks under his belt as well. So Duke defensively looks to be good, even though they allowed Kansas to get 66 points. But their offense just wasn't really producing that well. Trey Jones led the team with 15 points. And Cassius Stanley, he kind of came up big in the second half, scoring 11 of his 13 in the second half. But Duke, as a team, just shot 35% from the field, and they couldn't really get much going either from the charity stripe or from the three-point line, which has been extended this year, which a lot of the players are kind of getting used to.
Do you feel like that Duke is going to have another season like last year?
Well, they will definitely have a really good season like last year, but I think they can could probably go further with this team. Really? I would like them to see. I mean, that's kind of a biased opinion for me, but I do believe that Duke could go further this year just because of how aggressive they are playing. Last year, they kind of just were a very fast-paced team with Zion and R.J. Barrett leading the floor. But this year, they have 4 freshmen on the team that they're not all starting, all these freshmen. But last year, you had 4 out of your 5 starters freshmen. And Duke has a lot of experience with Jack White returning. Alex O'Connell's playing well. And Joey Baker coming off the bench as well. So Duke, they have a lot of depth in their bench, which is what they didn't have last year, especially when Zion went down.
Sure.
Which happened frequently, and they didn't really have a next man up mentality that Duke used to have in the past, especially with their 2015 team with Tyus Jones and Julio Okafor. But this year, Duke has a lot of depth, especially when they go to Goldwire and Delorier and on the bench.
Headline number 3. Russia's online Iron Curtain goes into effect, but cutting off the internet isn't so easy. The Kremlin says it's internet law as a security measure to protect Russia in the event of an emergency or foreign threat like a cyber attack. And basically what this is they're creating their whole new internet service for everyone in the country.
Yeah, and this will allow them to kind of have more control over the internet by kind of putting out their own type of media, especially with ads that people see, and like how Facebook, how they kind of take the information of what you say or what you kind of what you kind of search up on the internet, and they kind of put that into your like your feed. And I think that that's what Russia was going to try to stop with this kind of their own kind of internet based. And it's just kind of interesting to see that if maybe more countries will start doing this.
And that's a scary thing.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think we'll ever see it in the United States.
No, I don't think so. Because we're too, like, big. Like, our country is very tech savvy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are on it. So if you kind of take that away from a lot of people, they'll be like disconnected from everything else that's going on in the world. And I think Russia, when they do put this into effect, that they're going to be controlling a lot of things in our country. You know, if this was to happen in the United States, I think there would be a lot of backlash because our country is built on freedom and how we can have our freedom of speech and press as well. So,
So I don't think we'll ever see this.
No, not in America, no.
Headline number 2, college football playoff projections. College football is an amazing thing, George.
It is.
And this projections, there's a lot of great teams out there this season.
There are a lot of good undefeated teams, but the first college football playoff ranking officially happened last night during the break between the Duke game and the Michigan State game, which brings Ohio State, LSU, Alabama, and Penn State in the top 4. So potentially you could see these 4 teams in the college football playoff, and this would be the first time you don't see Clemson in there. And Clemson's kind of coming in at a number 5, and having Ohio State at number 1 is kind of different. You don't really see that in college football because it's usually Alabama's leading the pack. But ever since Tua went down with an ankle injury, Alabama's kind of been shaken up by it. He's been practicing lately, and Penn State, another undefeated team that has been playing well, and they play Minnesota, who's also undefeated this weekend. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how next week this kind of changes just because of how important this weekend is for college football.
I'm an Ohio State fan, George.
Really?
Yes. OHIO.
Wow.
Yes.
I did not expect that. I'm more of a Florida Gators guy as we kind of close out with at number 10, but
Yep, number 1. I've been an Ohio State fan for over 5 years now.
for just 5 years. Really?
Yeah.
What made you kind of go that way?
I have friends and family out in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So I always gravitated towards Ohio State. I never really had a college football team, but yeah.
Yeah, I've been a Gators fan ever since Tim Tebow was there. So.
Oh, you're one of those.
What do you mean one of those?
One of those.
All right.
Yeah, Austin is pointing to George's head, agreeing with me. He's one of those.
He said I'm a bandwagon,
Well,
which is not true at all.
Well, George, who's your favorite baseball team?
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh,
Yeah,
football?
Football, the Patriots. And if you say I like them because of, I grew up in New England. I have to like the Patriots.
College basketball.
Duke.
College football.
Gators.
Basketball.
Pelicans.
Hockey.
Bruins.
No, George.
What?
The only bad team in there are the Pirates.
Yeah, I know the only bad team in there are the Pirates, but you know what? I'm loyal to them. The Pelicans are bad too. They're 1-7 on the season so far.
That's this year.
1-6. I'm just waiting for Zion to come back in 4 weeks. So,
Are you a Pelicans fan because of Zion?
no, I liked Anthony Davis since he was in Kentucky.
See-
John Calipari. So I kind of I'm neutral with basketball. Like I like a lot of different players. I like a lot of different teams. I mean, I definitely watch the Celtics and I root for them as well, and I think they're a clear favorite in the East for me.
Oh, George. Sometimes you disappoint me.
Okay, thanks.
Headline number 1. Again, we always like to end this part of the show with what national day it is today. And George, today is probably one of my favorites since we started the show. It's National Nacho Day. I love nachos.
Really? I'm a big nacho fan as well. I like, especially when they put little bacon on them.
No.
No?
You ruined it.
Wow, I guess I just, all day today with you. All right, no, but nachos, I think they're good. Nachos with cheese, nachos with bacon.
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese?
Not your cheese.
Okay, yeah, all right. All right. Have you ever had the nacho fries from Taco Bell?
No.
Oh, those are actually pretty good.
I only like nachos with chips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little guac on them as well.
Sometimes. Guac is sometimes too much for me.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes it's a little too much.
I a fresh vegetable in there for me is good to have, especially when I'm having nachos.
I love jalapenos, sour cream.
Oh, sour cream's good, yeah.
Corn on nachos are pretty good.
All right. Corn? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
corn.
new.
Salsa. I love the salsa.
What kind of chips do you like with it, though? Like, do you like
Tortilla.
the tortilla chips?
Yes.
Like the blue ones? Like, what about the different colored chips?
No,
Are you interested in those or no?
No.
All right.
The regular tortilla chips, the freshly made ones, not like the stale ones that have been there since the morning of the first batch that were made. But the fresh nachos, nothing better. Nothing better. But on November 6th, I almost said October. Anyways,
That was a month ago.
That was a month ago. It would not have been Nacho Day. Anyways, National Nacho Day recognizes the snack favored at sporting events across the country. In the purest form, nachos are tortilla chips covered in nacho cheese or other melted cheese and served with salsa.
Do you have nachos at sporting events?
No.
No, neither do I.
Too messy.
It is. You're trying to watch a game, and what if you want to jump out of your seat and do the wave? You can't because you have a bowl of nachos in your hand.
George, the wave died like 10 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
They still do it at sporting events.
You don't participate in the wave.
So
You don't participate in the wave.
Yes, you do.
No,
you're just
it is the worst thing.
Are you one
in
of those
sports.
fans?
Yes, I hate the wave.
Why?
It's stupid.
Why? It's like I go to Yankee Stadium like once a year pretty much, and I go watch a game. The best thing to do is do the wave, unless they shout chicken bucket. That's always fun when they do the chicken bucket thing.
They don't do the wave at Yankee Stadium anymore.
Yes, they do.
No.
Yes, they
and
do.
they do it at Fenway Park for every game.
Yes, and there's a lot of great customs to and it's just a sporting thing you do.
I hate the wave.
I think that's pretty much it. It usually happens in baseball stadiums, and I think
It was
it's
a
a part
fad
of
from
baseball.
15 years ago. Get over it,
No.
people. Stop doing the wave.
I think the wave is such a great thing for
Why?
sports. It gets people involved.
They're not even watching the game that's happening. They're too worried about what's going on in the crowd.
Like what else is when I go to games, I watch the game to watch the game.
No. Well, yes, you do. You do go to the game to watch the game. That's why you're paying all the money you are to do so.
Right.
Not to watch random people throw their arms up in the air. Let's do the wave. No. I hate the wave. Hate it.
The wave's such a great. It gets you involved.
There's no lifeguard on duty. You could drown.
No. The wave.
I hate the
wave's
wave.
Great.
I hate the wave.
You're one of those fans that
Yes.
just sits down and ruins the excitement around
I
it.
ruin it?
Yes.
No, I'm the smart one.
Why? How's it smart?
Because I'm watching the game.
So do you not participate in the 7th inning stretch as well?
Well, I'll stand up.
So
And there's nothing happening on the field.
So if that wave happened in the 7th inning stretch, would you do it?
Yes. I think. I mean, maybe. What?
The wave started in the early 80s in Michigan, so it's not a fad from 15 years ago. It's been a tradition.
1980s was I mean, almost 30 years ago. No, over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Over 30 years. There we go.
Almost 40.
Almost 40. We're
40
3 months into a new decade. Anyways, no, the wave, I feel like, should have left time like 10 or 15 years ago. I hate the wave.
The wave is, I think it's fun. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to participate in. I love doing it.
You would, George.
You think I'd be the type of person to do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. George is currently waving.
I guess doing the wave, not
doing
waving,
the wave.
because waving's different. If I was waving, I'd be waving at you.
Oh, boy. I don't know what to say, George. You disappointed me this morning.
What do you
in
mean?
many ways.
How did I disappoint you?
You disappointed me in many ways.
All right.
And Austin agrees with me.
Okay. Yeah. Austin definitely agrees.
Austin, you agree with me, right?
With you?
Yeah,
Yes.
with him.
No, I agree with George.
You two.
I don't know. Are you no fun? Is that what this is,
Oh,
Alex?
am I no fun?
No fun at baseball games?
I love baseball games,
You're the
but I
guy
hate
who
the
won't
wave.
move from inning 1 to inning 9 and sits in your seat when a little kid has to go to the bathroom. That's Alex.
Oh, boy. I just hate the wave.
I bet Alex doesn't do the old little roll call at Yankee Stadium either.
No, that's fun.
No. I don't know.
I bet Alex brings his glove to a game and steals foul balls from little kids.
Alex would be the guy to do that, actually.
Never.
Yeah.
I would give it to the kid if I got it.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. I'm a
No,
nice
you
person. What? I am a nice person.
You're one of those people that doesn't do the wave. That's not a nice person.
What? How does a wave make me a bad person?
Because you have no fun.
Oh, my gosh. I think it's stupid. I think doing the wave is stupid.
Alex is going to run the no fun league. He's a new commissioner.
The new Roger Goodell.
Yeah, pretty much a new Roger Goodell.
I hate the wave. The wave should be banned from all sporting events.
And how would you stop me if I did the wave?
Kick you out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You can't kick someone up from standing
Yes.
up.
Yes,
You'll be
we
getting a
can.
hefty lawsuit coming your way if you ever did that to
No.
me.
Well, good thing Alex isn't in charge of the MLB.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'll put a petition out.
All
and
right.
we will
let
ban
us know
the
if
wave.
All right.
Maybe it could increase attendance at sporting events.
Really? No, it would not increase attendance at a baseball game. I think that's what really brings people there, is the wave.
Are you kidding me, George? You think the wave are bringing fans to baseball?
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean,
Okay.
that's a part of the game, though.
No,
it's a
it's
part
not.
Of baseball.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Gosh, you guys disappoint me.
The wave is a part of baseball, and I think it's so much fun.
If I catch anybody in here doing the wave, you are flunked.
Oh, there we go. John Rook. There we go. Perfect.
It's
You automatically flunked.
There we go.
School. No waves.
No
all
way.
right, no way. I'm not even in his class.
So,
That's it for George Hathaway today on the Alex Feuz Show.
I mean, I don't think we can top that. So I guess we're going to end it with the voice of the Patriots and the voice of the Providence Friars, John Rook, saying that if George and Austin do the wave in the studio, they are flunked. Anyways,
That's great.
Thank you for listening to this show today, everyone. Signing off for George Hathaway, Austin Dakuda, and Alex Murray. I'm Alex Feuz. Have a great rest of your day, and please never do the wave. Have a great day.